What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video of me, my old man in a movie. I'm Gannon, this is my dad Ryan, and today we're going to be reviewing The King of Kings. Alright, well, if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal. Help us get there. We're so close. And before we get started, let me read a brief synopsis of the film. Renowned writer Charles Dickens shares the story of Jesus Christ with his son Walter. As his father narrates the stirring title, Walter becomes captivated with the events of Jesus' life. There you go.
There it is.
There you go. All right, so we'll give our initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Then we'll go into the blockbuster trio, which is 3 things that we like about the film. Trilogy of change, which is 3 things that we would change about the film. And then we'll rate it at the end, and then we'll say whether or not you should see this in theaters, wait to stream, or skip it altogether.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give our initial thoughts. Go ahead and go first.
Okay, so I want to know why half the people in the Middle East have British accents. That's my initial thought. They didn't keep it genuine to the time. And I'm not talking about Charles Dickens. It's kind of a back and forth between not modern times, but the times of Charles Dickens back to the story of Jesus. But I noticed a couple of the guys that was pretty strong British accent. So he was Middle Eastern. Jesus kind of looked Middle Eastern, so I was content with that. But when the accents came in, I was like, but all right, that's minor.
I thought it was a pretty good film. You know, it told a story. It did a good job. The animation was pretty good. It did an overall good job. The movie,
it didn't. All right, so I will. It didn't hold my attention as much as I would have liked it to hold my attention. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It's a kid movie.
Yeah, it is.
So let's
just get right into the blockbuster trio. All right, so you want to kick off the blockbuster
so these are
trio?
3 things we like about the film. We didn't really set this up well for this episode, but 3 things we like about the film. We'll hit a trilogy of change. 3 things we want to change about the film. Then we'll rate it.
I literally just said that 2 seconds ago.
You did?
Yes.
You said it all?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I don't know. I'm not paying attention. When you said we got to give our initial thoughts, I was like, oh yeah, we got to give our initial thoughts. So I was going through that, and
well, we didn't set this up very well, so we're gonna, okay. All right.
Old man. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's great. All right, so here we go.
All right.
Blockbuster trio. Things I liked about the movie.
I think they know that.
Jesus. I like Jesus. Okay.
That's a good thing.
That's my first thing. I thought Jesus was calming, and I thought the voice of Jesus was great, and he looked good. He had a nice cut beard. I just thought Jesus was very well presented, and I enjoyed him. There we go.
All right. So the first thing that I liked about this film was the animation. I thought was cool because this thing was made for $35 million.
Yeah.
And if you compare this to I heard someone say this is like giving Disney a run for their money. It's not giving Disney a run for their money or Pixar by any means.
No.
But with Disney and Pixar spending about $200 million on their movies and stuff, for this budget, I thought it did a very good job of delivering pretty good animation despite having a pretty low budget.
That was my number 2. Decent animation for what it was. I thought they did a good job, It wasn't a bunch of stick figures out there. And I know, it looked good. It looked good.
It did. It looked good.
So I was impressed with that. All right, that was 2 fun.
All right, so the next thing I had was the explanation of this film using the kid. So the kid's kind of asking questions about it, and I feel like it did a good job of explaining things to the kids in the audience about some of the stuff that they were talking about. They kind of used that kid as kind of just an explanation to kind of show. Yeah. And I thought that was a good
Are you looking off my notes, bro?
No, I'm not looking off your notes. I got my own notes right here.
So that's what I said. Boy, help move story along. I said Princess Bride-esque. Do you remember The Princess Bride? I don't know. You've seen.
I have seen it.
We made you watch it. We had you watch
Yeah,
it?
I did see it. I don't really remember it that much.
Well, okay.
I just
You're
remember
gonna
the
have to
poison
watch
scene.
it again.
That's
The
about it.
poison scene is a classic.
I think that's all I remember about that.
Clearly, I cannot put the thing in my. Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. I thought The Boy moved it along well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that helped explain certain aspects of the story, and so yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that.
Yeah.
So all right.
All right, the third thing.
Did you do the third thing?
Do you have something to say?
No. Did you do a third thing
No,
already?
the third thing right here.
I started this?
Yeah.
Man, I am way off today.
Jeez, man.
All right, go ahead.
This guy. All right, so I said true story, Charles Dickens. I thought it was cool that it was based off of Charles Dickens' story, that he wrote it, and then, it got made into a movie, and, it started off with well, it's kind of a spoiler, but yeah, it started off with one of Charles Dickens' work, Christmas Carol.
I mean,
yeah.
It's right on the banner, a reading by Charles Dickens.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Although I didn't know that, again, old man Mona, like, who's this dude? And Mom's like, at the very beginning of the film, it said a reading by Charles Dickens. I was like, oh, I thought it said a reading of Charles Dickens. So I was so confused.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. All right.
Moving on to the Trilogy of Change.
So you're telling me we've explained this already?
All right. Yes, we have explained what this is already.
Right, why don't you kick it off?
All right. So I said it's very. The kid was like slightly annoying at the beginning of the film. I was like, can we just get this kid under control?
Kid needed some parenting right there. I don't know if Dickens' kids were out of control, but this kid was out of control.
Yeah, he was very annoying, and he got less annoying as the movie went on, but at the very beginning, I was like, gosh, man, this kid.
Like, where's the parenting in this? Like, beat this kid's butt. Yeah, no, just I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble with something. Don't ban me. All right, so here we go. All right, so Trilogy of Change 1 for me. 2, on the nose in some parts, but not in others. So we talked earlier about the boy and how he helped explain things. He would ask, like, what's a manger? And then they'd explain a manger. So you're like, okay, we're bringing the kids along in this story. But then there's other parts of the Jesus story that there's like a demon possession scene where he pulls a demon out of a guy and it goes into the pigs and they go off the edge. I'm like, and the kids don't have questions about this? So it's like, like some of it was over-explained and some of it was really under-explained, which I don't know. It just left me a little like, what are we, is this for kids? Not for kids? Well, so there it was.
All right.
Sorry, I was just going to add one of the other parts on that, like, never mind. I'll come back to that.
All right. So the second thing I had is they kind of go back and forth between the present day times for Charles Dickens and then back to Jesus' times. Yeah. And sometimes they'll have the characters kind of like be in Jesus' time.
Yeah, the kid was like there tracking along with him.
Yeah, and then sometimes the people in Jesus' time could see the kid, and then other times that they couldn't. They interacted with him sometimes, and other times they just kind of like completely ignored him, overlooked him, and then just ran right through him, just like not even paying attention to him at all, as if he wasn't even there. Yeah. So it's like, can they always see him or never? Like, what is that? Because sometimes they could see him, sometimes they couldn't.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell if it may have just been that Jesus could see him. I don't know, which was maybe what they were going for. But I think there was even a piece with Dickens where he kind of engaged with a woman in there. So
yeah, no, there were definitely so like he ran into people sometimes.
Inconsistent. Yeah. Okay. All right. Number 2, one-dimensional characters. This is something that drives me nuts about Jesus stories in general. Not all. A moment of truth. I haven't seen The Chosen yet, but I've heard that it does a really good job delving into the characters. But what you get sometimes with the Jesus story is Jesus is developed a little bit more, and everybody else is just kind of a side character, and so they're very one-dimensional. And so, like that's a problem for me. I kept thinking to myself, I would love to see what Pixar did with the Jesus story because they do such a good job with character development. Like, I just wonder what they could do with the disciples and all the different characters. But no, it just lacked in that regard. So then it feels like bad writing, and it's not. They really closely followed the text, Luke's story of Jesus. but it's just that works in the Bible, but on the screen it just doesn't come across the same way. I can read Luke and it feels great. I watch Luke as an animation and I'm like bored out of my mind. So I think that was an issue for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I did not have a third thing.
You didn't?
I didn't have a third thing.
Look at
I
you.
didn't find something else to complain about.
All right. I got more. No. So this is the last thing I'll say. Actually, I do have a fourth critique, but so missed opportunities. I felt like there was a line at the beginning of the story where the kid says, behavior has consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the very beginning of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was going to get revisited at the end when we get into the story of Jesus dying for our sins.
Mm-hmm.
They never come back to it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What a miss. I don't know if that got left out somewhere in the editing or but I thought they were setting this thing up to where this is how the kid's going to learn about,
Yeah.
sin and Jesus suffering for, and the dad would pull it back. Behavior has consequences. Never came back to it. And I was like, bro. So there was that. Can I just one other critique? Can I throw
one other
quadro trilogy of change?
Yeah, one more.
All right, fine. So this is why in the world, if Jesus is so important to this family, the Dickens family, is this the first time this kid's hearing about Jesus?
Well, yeah.
Let me tell you about Jesus now that you're 12 years old, 8 years old. It's like, I just, it didn't, that I kind of got lost on me. I'm like, what? How does you're a Christian family. How does he already know who Jesus is? You're like, he had never heard the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. So it just kind of got lost on me too.
It's true.
All right, there it is.
All right, well, let's give it this rating here.
Yeah. Okay.
So I gave this thing 8.5.
Man.
8.5 crowns.
8.5
crowns.
Okay, I'm going to give it 7, the perfect number of God's number. I'm going to give it 7 crowns.
7 crowns.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, if you want to share Jesus with your kid, like this is a great Sunday school lesson. Like this is put this in front of them. This kind of tells the story, and you can build on this and have some conversation. It does that. It's good animation. It's engaging enough. I do have some issues with it, but I'm good with that.
And I said, wait to stream.
Yes.
You can wait to stream this. No need to rush out to the theater.
Unless you really want to support Angel Studios, which completely justified. To you want more films like this. I know that's a thing within the Christian circles, wanting to support this. Go do it. Pay and support it. I think it is good. It's on the big screen. It shows well. So I would have no issues, telling you, go support it. Go support it, So for sure. All right, there it is.
All right. So, if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Help us get there. Let us know in the comments down below, did you like King of Kings? And we'll see you guys next time.